Hey y'all, it's Courtney with C Granny B Quilting, and I'm working on a dahlia quilt that has all these little odd shapes in it that I wanted to stitch an individual pattern in each different shape, but I didn't want to have to do it free motion. So I thought, how can I get that shape onto my PatternCAD? Well, the first time I did it, I hit record at my machine and I started recording and I ran the needle of my machine around the seam line without stitching, just moved it around it, and that recorded that shape, and that worked. But I found a much easier way and I thought I'd share that with y'all. So instead I used my phone to take a picture, and then I downloaded it to my computer and I went into my background in PatternCAD, and you can load that image then right into your PatternCAD. So then let's increase that a little bit and I'll show y'all how to get your shape. So we're going to want draw an arc. And the first time you draw a line, if you haven't used PatternCAD, you have to click and drag your mouse from point to point for the first line. By the way, I have nodes turned off and continuous line turned on. Now, once you've made that first line, you can hit the space bar and it selects both those nodes and it lets you click on this little blue square to edit that. And see how simple that was just to move that out to meet that shape? There is another way to do it. You can click edit and you can click select and you can select each of those nodes, and then you can do that, but that takes a lot longer and this just saves you some time. So now if you'll hit the space bar again, we're back to draw, and this time all we have to do is move our mouse to where we want it and click, and it creates a line. So then we make a space bar, and I can see now that I have this one a little bit out of shape. It's not quite on the corner. So I'm going to unselect this one so that I can move this one a little bit more to the corner. Now I'm going to select that again, and now I'm back to where I can fix that. So something went wrong there. Unselect all, select that, and hit snap ends. And let's move that now. So there we go. Now we've fixed it. Okay. So back to unselect all, draw arc, and we'll click right here, and then we'll hit the space bar and we can move that over. Move it back just a little bit right there. And then we're going to hit the space bar again, and we're going to click right up here and space bar, and now we can edit that one over. And now that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do to finish this up is we're going to unselect all, and I'm just going to select those nodes right there and hit snap selected, and that lines up my beginning and my ending point. So now I'm happy with that. So let's say background, and we're going to clear that background away. And now we have our background shape that we want, and we want to save that. So we're going to go into save, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to save it under Dahlia D. But I've already done that, and I don't want to resave it because I'm actually very happy with the one I have. So I'm just going to get out of here. And then we are going to, I don't like working without the grid lines, and I have never figured out once I clear the background how to get my grid lines back. So, oh, there it is, grid lines. There we are. Just learned something new. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say select all, and I'm going to move this over so that the top and bottom point lines up with a nice dark line there that I can use to create my pattern. So we're going to click move, And we're just going to move this over just a little bit. And then I'm going to click rotate. And I'm going to rotate it a hair. And I'm going to move it a little bit more. And by the way, by turning off nodes, I can see when it lines up the top and the bottom on that line. So now I'm happy with the way that lines up on the line. So we'll turn our nodes back on, and now we're going to swap layers. So this now becomes our background, the shape, and now we can create our pattern. And what I like to do is hit Snap to Grid, Draw, Arc. And I'm going to start right down here, and I'm going to draw a line straight up. And the reason that I picked Snap to Grid is because it lines our nodes up perfectly with each other every time. So now, once again, I'm going to hit the space bar, and that's going to let me move this over to where I want it. And you know what? Before we do this, let's undo that real quick. And I want to go back here and swap layers again and say select all. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we have some room to work. Since I haven't done anything, that I'm going to hit size. I'm going to lock that so it holds its shape. And I'm just going to go down here to medium, and I'm going to hit that a couple of times so that it's bigger. Now, I'm happy with that. So we're going to make that our background. So we're going to swap layers again. And we're going to say select all, and I'm going to delete that one. Okay, now we have a little bit bigger shape to work with. So we're going to hit Snap to Grid. If it's blue, it's on. If it's gray like that, it's not on. It took me a while to figure that out, by the way. So hit Draw, hit Arc, and we're going to start right down here, and we're going to draw a line straight up. Now, space bar, we're going to move that over, and then we're going to come back down, space bar, and we're going to click right there. And because we have Snap to Grid on it, it's going to exactly line it up every single time. So we're going to move this over, and we're just going to keep doing this until we have the shape that we would like. So by doing this, we can create a shape that we want to quilt in that particular, or we can create a pattern that we want to quilt in that particular shape. So go back down here and create another one, and you get the idea. So as we're going along, we just keep clicking and drawing what we want until we're happy with it. And then once we're happy with it, we can save it. And I've already done that, so I'm not going to save it at this point. But once you create the pattern that you would like to have, then you're able to save that pattern and go to your quilt. And if you will tune into my next video, I will actually show you how to line up an odd shape on a quilt and get it to line up perfectly with that shape. Happy quilting!